Jim, I know you joke about food, you've written about food. Do you ever think about the backstory of what a character you're about to play eats?
That's a really interesting question. Yeah, I suppose I haven't. I don't really, I mean, I do think when we were shooting Chappaquiddick, there was an amount of, there were these scenarios where there's drinking, but I think that's not food, but like there is this approach to drinking and consumption of alcohol that's shifted so much with every decade, at least in my lifetime. So, you know, this was kind of my dad's era where people would drink just, you know, enormous amounts. And they would day drink and they would drink at night and, you know, it was pretty amazing.
Did you ever consider what your character might eat? I know that drinking was a lot of what was going on, especially on those few days that the film takes place.
I think I would, what they would eat? Yeah, I don't know, that's interesting. But I think it's more of the priority of eating. Whereas I think for me, what I would eat and the type of food I would eat is probably more important than what what it was back then. It's like you look back at like what we were having at barbecues as a kids versus what we're having at barbecues now. It's kind of gotten fancier, right?
Fondues and things like that, yeah. Why do you think comedians make such great actors?
Well, I mean, that's very flattering. I would say that comedians, it's really necessary to know yourself, that's part of the journey and that's part of the conversation you have with the audience and how they respond to things, particularly autobiographical things. So you become very aware of who you are and how you come across. But I don't know, I think of acting and stand-up as very different disciplines, but I love acting because in some ways, it's the opposite of stand-up. Whereas stand-up, I'm writer, director, producer, and every beat and moment of the show is controlled and influenced by me. I love the opportunity to be this spoke in this larger, just even a moment in a scene, serving a narrative of a story is really exciting. And also it's fun to kind of hide in a different character and have a different point of view. I mean, I think in my stand-up I kind of engage different points of views, but in acting it's really fun to kind of climb behind a different point of view and see how they would adjust. Of course, it's still you, but like playing Paul Markham, he's a lawyer, so I think that influenced how he viewed everything. He was also someone who really liked Ted, so I think those elements really had an influence. Whereas in stand-up, there's a greater likelihood of taking the irreverent point of view.
Have we learned anything from Chappaquiddick all these years later, or it's just a moment in time, no one really knows what happened?
There's so much information out there, and some of the the information is, I don't know how definite it is, but I think it's how our viewpoint on Chappaquiddick is shifting, just particularly in this day and age we live in. So, I mean, look, our viewpoint on drunk driving has shifted dramatically in our lifetime. I remember being a kid and hearing about drunk driving, like, try not to do it.
Right.
And now no one would do it. And so, obviously this tragedy, no one should ever do this, but it was, like the alcohol or the, philandering part, our judgments on that have changed dramatically.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.